We are good to start. First of all, thank you very much, Mr. Salman, for providing me this opportunity to uh, present something related to cybersecurity with all the participants. Uh, the today's topic is phishing scams and how they can be avoided. You have been most probably every one of you must have heard this keyword, which is phishing scam. And it is very common and very frequently occurred social engineering attack. So I just want to add to add some information in your knowledge. Uh, as Mr. Salman mentioned, my name is Mohammad Razzaq, and just to start with, I'll just briefly introduce myself. Uh, I have been working here in information and cybersecurity field for more than 10 years. I have some industry standard certifications related to security, auditing, data privacy, and ethical hacking. And mostly my work is related to security, information system security, auditings, risk management, software development security, vulnerability assessment, pen testing, and other aspects of security, identity access management, security operations, and all these. My current role, I'm working with Arab National Bank in the internal audit department as a senior information security auditor. And before this, I had worked with some other organizations in the capacity of information security engineer. So let's start with the today's presentation. So the objective of this session will be to cover some basic, very basic topics of cybersecurity, and then we will be moving on towards the more details about phishings to understand what phishing is and its various type of scams. Then we will try to identify some common tactics used in phishing scams, and we will try to learn how we can protect ourselves from being hooked by such phishing scams. So just to start, what is cybersecurity? So actually, cybersecurity is nothing but to protect your electronic devices, which covers your personal devices, mobile phones, laptops, computers, and any data associated to such devices, any data or information. So the cybersecurity is all about protecting your devices as well as the data on these devices, electronic devices. And in today's world, we are flooded with the electronic devices. Any sector you will see, they have lots of electronic devices, health, financial sector, or education sector. And during this COVID era, everyone is dependent on technology for continuing their business, their study, or whatever. So this increased the requirement and role of cybersecurity as well. So in a modern day world, today, any business from small to large organization, they have to have some security, because they have to have depend on the electronic medium. For example, they have to have emails, they have to use mobile devices, it could be tablets, mobiles, or other PDAs. They also, it's a need of the hour to have a website also for their corporate. They also have to maintain their social media pages. They have to have some e-commerce systems for any sale, purchase, or anything. Then the banking needs are also online. Then most of the organizations also allowing the employees or staff to bring their own devices. This term is used as BYOD, bring your own device. So when everyone is allowed to bring their devices, so every device come with their own vulnerabilities, their own weaknesses. So we have to take care of these also. Then wherever multiple electronics or computer devices are involved, a network has to be established and its management is required. Then for backup and remote access, you have to have some mechanism or some infrastructure should be there. So for any small or large or medium-sized business, these are some of the technology dependencies which are currently in practice. So whenever all these technologies or all these technical things are involved, their security is also a concern. So when there are when we say cyber security, so why we need cyber security? Because we have to protect all these infrastructures, and we have to protect them from the hackers or from the malicious intent users. So just to understand why these hackers do the hacking, or why this hacking is taking place. So in this infographic, I will explain different things. In the recent times, from last 2 years, you can say, the maximum type of hacks are caused for the ransomware. And on the second number, it's insider threats. Some insider disgruntled employees, or some disguised enemies inside your organizations. They are damaging your information. So it's on the 27% and takes the second place. On the third level, it's political reasons. Many hacks, which are 26%, are happening due to some political reasons. And another reason is competition. Different competitive companies try to hack each other's data, because in today's world, data is very important for any competition to compete with your competitor. Sometimes they use hackers to hack your data so that they can misuse or they can use into their advantage. Then there is a cyber war element. Some national level, on country level, some state-owned activities are happening, which is called cyber war. Then angry users, maybe some users are not satisfied with your services, or your products. They might try to get a revenge by trying to hack you. And 11% is some unknown motives, which we cannot put in these one of these areas. So there are some other reasons also, which is 11%. Data breaches by pattern and motive. So these are different color patterns which they are showing. For example, if it's financial sector, it's coded as white. If it's just for fun or ideology or some grudge, it is coded as black. And then espionage is red. So you can see mostly white is there, means mostly people who are hacking, they have some financial gains, or they target some financial institutes or financial sector companies. So this is just to give you what type of hacking is going on or why it is going on. So just to avoid any of hacks, we have to well prepared with our cybersecurity skills. And so actually the main objective of cybersecurity is to provide you confidentiality of your data, integrity of your data, and availability of your services, or your availability of your data over your services. So these three, also called as, also known as CIA triad. It's not Americans' secret agency, but it's also a cybersecurity main fundamental pillars: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So all the efforts in cybersecurity are evolving around these three pillars. So I will just briefly explain each of these. So actually, what is confidentiality? It's actually to protecting the information from unauthorized access and disclosure. So, for example, if in any organization you have some data and you don't want this data to be accessible by any unauthorized person, so this concept or this theory called confidentiality. And any threat against this confidentiality will be a leakage of your information. For example, some criminals try to steal your customer data, your usernames or passwords, or your credit card information to misuse those information. So to avoid such hacks or such threats, you have to implement confidentiality in your organization. The second pillar is integrity. Integrity is protection of your information from unauthorized notification. So the confidentiality and integrity have a difference. In confidentiality, we are avoiding unauthorized access. Sorry. But in integrity, we are trying to protect our data from unauthorized modification. For example, uh, you have some information stored in your website and the backend data, and someone trying to modify this information. For example, someone try to change your payroll information or your proposed product design, such things. If someone want to change it, it's a threat against your integrity of data. All the defenses against integrity will try to protect your data from unauthorized modification. Maybe you want someone to access a data, your legitimate users, do you want them to access it, but you don't want them to modify it. So you will implement integrity controls to handle such situations. And the third thing is availability. Uh, Availability is actually to make your service available to the legitimate and authorized users. And this is to prevent any disruptions in the information to be accessed. For example, if you have a website, but your customers are not able to access it, it means it's not available to them and it's a hack against the availability of your service. So to make sure any service is not disrupted by any hacks, you have to make some arrangements to protect the availability. Normally DDoS attacks or DOS attacks are threats against the availability of your services. In which cases the hackers try to access your services through multiple channels so that the legitimate users will not be able to get served. And a good balance of all these three pillars is a must in any good cybersecurity state. You cannot claim that you have implemented two of these and you are in a good secure phase. To claim a good secure state, you have to maintain a good balance of all these three: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. You cannot ignore any one of these. These are the must ingredients of your cybersecurity. And security is a function of time. You cannot promise 100% security, and something is secure today might not be secure tomorrow, or maybe the next second it's not secure. So it's a continuous function. You have to keep update your systems, your self knowledge, and your controls to be continuously safe. And nothing provides you 100% security. It's always you, with all these efforts, you always try to delay the hacks or try to avoid the hacks, but you cannot guarantee 100% secure systems. So in cybersecurity, main threats are, these are some of the threats. There are many more, but just to list some of them are phishing attacks, ransomware attacks, hacking attacks, imposter scams, and environmental events. For example, some attacks are from human factor, but some attacks or some disasters are caused by some environmental events. For example, earthquake or a flood, or for example, a pandemic situation. These will pose also some threats to your availability, or might be sometime your destruction of data will be a threat to your integrity of the data. So we always have challenges in cybersecurity related to natural and environmental events also. So in this session, we will continue with the phishing attacks, because this is the most common and mostly used type of attacks nowadays. So just to explain the importance of phishing attack, I will try to demonstrate the defense in depth or the layered defense architecture. In any organization, normally we have multiple layers of defenses. Like on the network level, we have firewalls, we have DMZs, or that IPS, IDS, data loss prevention, or that data uh, uh, leakage prevention tools. On the platform level, we have antivirus softwares, we have patching processes, we have security specifications for systems. On application level, we again have secure coding standards, we have security specifications, or we have application level firewalls also. On data level, we have some file and data encryption, enterprise rights management. And on top of all these controls, we also have a monitoring and intrusion detection and remediation response, which covers under your SOC area. So we have all these different layers of defenses against cyber crimes or cyber threats, but still in, we have to give access to our normal people. Some people will have access to network, some will have to platform, some will have to application, some will have to data. You have all these controls for the illegitimate users, but you also have to maintain a legitimate access for your authorized users. So here comes the role of a phishing attack. Phishing attack will not go through all these secured or all these well protected layers. Phishing attacks directly attack the human factor. The people who have the authorized access, they will try to impersonate them. They will try to lower them and try to gain their access to access your infrastructure or data. So on one side, you have all your technical controls, but on the other hand, you have your authorized users. So it's very critical and it's very, you can say, vulnerable. In reality, if we see who is the weakest link, so no matter how strong you have your technical controls, you have many firewalls, you have intrusion detection and prevention systems, you have cryptography for encryption, you have different antivirus softwares, you have monitoring, everything is going on, but still you means the people are the weakest link in your computer security. People are more vulnerable than any computer. So there is a famous saying by a very famous hacker, which is currently a security advisor also to the US government organization. He says, Kevin Mitnick is his name, and his saying is the weakest link in security chain is the human element. So you have to empower these humans so that you can secure this weakest link. And this phishing element is targeting that weakest link. So just to explain some more points related to phishing. Phishing is actually a cyber criminal attempt to steal personal information. For example, your login credentials, your bank details, your credit card numbers, or these attempts are to infect your computer and other devices with different malwares and viruses by disguising as a trustworthy entity in an electronic communication. Typically, this is carried out by any electronic mean, sometimes through email spoofing, sometimes through SMSs, which is a phishing through SMS, also called smishing. So use voice calls, the phone calls, and this specific type of phishing is called wishing from voice. And some phishing attacks are also happening through the fake websites. They will clone other reputed websites, and then they will let you enter your credentials there, so that they can later use it to their personal gain. As I already mentioned, that phishing is an example of a social engineering technique. So this is a social engineering, and this is against your human or the people element. And the phishing word itself is created as a homophone of phishing, because it has a similarity of using bait in an attempt to catch you. So always in this phishing attempts, they will try to lure you with offering you some lotteries, or they try to threat you, or they try to give a sense of urgency, so that you don't think and you just act it and get victim out of it. And different attempts which deal with phishings, they include uh, we have to make some legislations, very harsh rules against phishing, so that it will be a deterrent controlled against the phishers. Then we have to train our users, we have to create public awareness, and also we have to take some technical security measures against such phishing attacks. Other than the medium used for phishing, there are some types of phishing. For example, the very basic or general phishing is they create a message and they spread it to the millions of users and just wait for anyone to get hooked so that they can get something out of it. But the more advanced or the most sophisticated approach is, which is being used nowadays, is severe phishing. So what severe phishing is, it's actually targeting some specific uh, directed attack on some specific individuals or companies using some gathered information. For example, instead of sending a phishing email to millions of users and then waiting for anyone to get hooked, now what they are doing is they are targeting some specific people or some specific companies with some extra information related to those guys of their interest of or their normal business, so that they craft the messages to the extent that the receiver will be more interested and there will be more chances of them to get hooked. So as this is depicted in this graphics, that in spear phishing they don't matter who is getting hooked, but in spear phishing they are targeting a specific fishes and then try to get them on hooked. And then there is another concept of whaling. When this spear phishing is being done against some big fishes. Big fishes means not in terms of size, but in terms of their uh, role in their organizations, like C-level roles, CFOs, CTOs, or CIOs. All these big in different corporates, when they are targeting these big individuals, this is called whaling, because then they will get more financial or informational gain from the big fishes. Another reality check to share with you, as per a recent study or a survey done by the SANS Institute, they claim that 95% of all attacks on enterprise networks are the result of successful spear phishing. So this spear phishing is comprises 95% of successful attacks. So only 5% attacks are happening on the other layers, which are more secure or we have more controls. But successful attacks, 95% are coming through the peoples or coming through the spear phishing attempts. So that's why it is very important and very critical thing to take care of it. So now the next question is, okay, it's very common, it's very dangerous, and it's very happening thing. So how we can protect ourselves? The only efficient defense against phishing or any social engineering attack is awareness and knowledge. Any technical solution will not give you a guarantee that it will protect you against the social engineering attacks or phishing attacks. So the best defense against such attacks is knowledge. So just to give you some pointers, so that if you come across any of these things, you should be alerted and take serious note of it. Most of the phishing emails or messages, they contain spelling errors, they lack of punctuations, or they have poor grammar. Sometimes the hyperlink URLs which they are embedding, they are different from the display, which is showing something different, but on the back end it is different. The language contains some threatening words. They want to threat you so that you will take action immediately. Then sometimes they have some request for personal information. Whenever someone asks you any personal information, just be suspicious and take good care before sharing it with anyone. Announcement including that you have won a prize or you have won a lottery to lure you to click those links or to open those files. and sometimes they also request for donations or any such things. So the rule of thumb against phishing is these three: stop, think, and connect. So whenever you feel something is fishy, just stop, think, and then connect back. For example, if you receive an email that requests urgent private information and you are unsure whether to trust it or not, just check directly with the company which they are claiming. For example, if they are claiming they are contacting you from a bank, just directly contact the bank and ask them if they why they want such information. Then they will let you know that yeah, they are not the one who are asking it. Second point is never download anything without fully understanding what you are downloading on your mobile or on your PC. So before downloading, just make your diligence so that you should not download any malware or any phishing thing. If someone send you a request to download a file or a thing, just don't do it without thinking fully why you need to do this. The third point is be cautious about opening any attachment. If you are receiving an email from an unknown person you don't know, or even from a known person, and you are not expecting an email from him, just don't open the attachment and don't download any link, click any link on that email before examining it. Do not pass your email addresses on different sites, on subscription boxes. Never send your passwords or bank numbers accounts in any private in any email or in any of your social media chats. Do not click on any hyperlinks in an email, as I mentioned earlier. A very important point is you should always pay attention to the URLs. Sometime they mark as a green, which is a good sign. You are protected, your information between you and the server is encrypted. But if it is red or it's showing some warning, just don't put any personal information there. For example, if this lock is broken or open or it's red color, it means it is something fishy. But if it is yeah, closed or it's in green color, it's good to go. Even if after having all this information or all these precautions, still you got hooked, then what you have to do, try to change your password if you have shared any password with them before they change it, and then you will be in a difficult situation. Then observe the watches of any banking or card transactions, or try to block your card before they try to unauthorizedly use it. And always report any such incident to the organizations from which you got these username IDs or your card information. So they normally have some mechanisms to deal with such things. So then conclusion of all these points is you should be skeptical all the time of for any request of personal information, whether you receive them via email, message, text, phone call. You should be suspicious about any such information, and you should do those three things: stop, think, and connect, and you will be get to a good conclusion. You should be stay update with the latest scam trend so that you will be able to spot any different form of attacks which might occur in future. So staying up to date is very important in today's world. So as I already mentioned, the weakest link in security chain is human element. It's a saying by Kevin Mitri, and there is another very famous saying by Razzaq Chishti. Knowledge and awareness is the only defense against social engineering attacks. So whatever you have in technology stack, if your users are not aware or not knowledgeable, you cannot compete with this thing. So the message of today is be aware, be knowledgeable, and don't be the weakest link, but strongest link in the chain, so that we as an individual or as organizations can protect our information, our privacy, our data, and our assets. So that's all from my side. If you have any questions, just let me know. You can drop in, and then we can.
Thank you so much, Razak. One question is that if you can give an example of imposter scam.
Imposter scams is actually in any communication. If someone want to impose himself as a legitimate authority, for example, if you receive a call from a person, he says, I am head of service desk and I need to inspect your PC, give me your password. So this is impersonation of someone else with authority to influence you to give him the information.
Okay. If there is any other questions, please you may ask now, or then we will conclude the session. Okay. Thank you everyone, and have a good night, and see you tomorrow, and with the next topic and the lab as well. Thanks and bye bye.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
How SOC should deal with phishing? Razzaq, are you still there?
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe you can give some insight on it.
As I mentioned, the best defense against phishing is awareness. So might be SOC will not be directly involved in creating awareness among the people, but they can, on the technology side, maybe they can reduce the number of phishing scams reaching to the end user by putting some filtering on the content of emails, or if they are monitoring the incoming outgoing traffic. So those techniques can reduce the number of phishing attempts, but the ultimate defense against it is awareness. So or maybe Sulman can add more on this from
Yeah,
the.
definitely. I will agree to Razak that awareness is the key, because I have seen in some cases there was a specific like spear phishing attack. It was sent to only like 2-3 users, but the users were aware, so they reported to us, and then we investigate and then we take the required actions. But again, yes, if the user is not aware, or if the user uh, uh, just it's got trapped to these kind of emails, then we can get breach. So then there are other phases or steps that SOC usually take in terms of incident response that we will discuss tomorrow. We'll discuss also about the phishing playbook and other playbooks tomorrow as well. Thanks. How should SOC deal with phishing? Okay. All right. So that's it for today. We are going to disconnect now. See you tomorrow.
Okay.
Bye.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.